Hello, my loves. Hello, hello, hello. My name is Dustina. This is Spiritual Boujee Astrology, and we're going to take a look at the new moon in Sagittarius that will be perfecting the evening of December 19th, or at least it's evening for me. Some of y'all, depending on where you're at in the globe, of course, it's going to be morning, afternoon, things along these lines. But for me, it's happening the evening of Friday, December the 19th. I don't know why I felt the need to tell you that, but there you go. Anyways, before we get into everything, I want to do a quick little reminder. You have about a little bit less than 2 weeks left to book your sessions at the current rate going into next year. So effective January 1st, I will be increasing the prices of my session. It's not going to be a lot, but there is a price increase coming. So if you're wanting to book with me, if you're wanting to book gift certificates or anything along these lines, I am reminding you to go to the website. You have until the end of the year, so December 31st, to book at the current rate. Just wanted to remind everybody of that because there's going to be somebody that they'll be like, I didn't know the price increases were coming. It's like, then you didn't listen. It's easy as that. Because I started warning about this back in October. Now this was going to happen. So there's that. Now, the moon has already been in Sagittarius for a couple of days before we actually get into the new moon. So the new moon is actually perfecting at the very edge of Sagittarius. What I said in the week ahead episode as we go into this is like for a lot of people, we're confirming, committing, revealing for some, connecting to something that we've already been aware of for a while. Maybe weren't completely aware of it, but ideas of it, inklings of it. There's some level of direction. And it's going to lead into something igniting, starting, moving forward. But for a lot of us, the moving forward does not happen until January. We are still in the 9 year. We are still in the 3 month of like movement, the way that it is. So there's a lot of people that whenever we start to talk and they're like, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what happens next. And that kind of tells me you're already where you're supposed to be for this moment, for this time being. It's easy for us to get into moments of spiral of like looking. I need an answer here, 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 here. Where's it at? Where is it at? Is it under the bed? Is it under the dog? Pick on my dogs. And sometimes it's just a matter of timing. And I feel like we're getting closer to a lot of timing for people, but I don't necessarily know how much timing is effective in this new moon. Because it is happening at the late degrees, the reason I'm saying I feel like we're aware of something is I kind of feel like it's completing something. This connection is also a completion in some way, finalizing something because once it's committed to, once it's understood, once it's connected to, once we commit to it, then it allows for something else to start. Once you sign that offer letter, then we can focus on the actual job. This is what I mean by there's levels of commitment and we have some levels of awareness to it. But the full aspects of what it represents, where it takes us, the way that we work with it, the things we're going to be doing with it, we're not there yet. It's a transitional new moon. It's a part of the traffic blurring and the movement that's going on because there's a lot of movement for people in the month of December. However, if you have this moment of feeling like you're not moving, maybe you're not supposed to. Just yet, at least just yet. Anyways. Oh, the thing about Sagittarius is it's ruled by Jupiter. And Jupiter is at play in the transits whenever it comes to this week because we are reactivating the square between Jupiter and Chiron. So squares are of 90-degree angles. Chiron has been in Aries forever now, but we're actually getting really close to Chiron being through with Aries. So there's some level of energy around our emotional needs for some, health needs for some, wealth, prosperity, plans for the future for some. For other people, there is some additional layers of teaching or learning. And some element of this is all the qualities of Jupiter either helps us face a wound, Jupiter scare Chiron, face a wound, take steps to heal a wound, take steps to overcome adversity. And in a lot of ways, there's a commitment in this new moon that leads into that. It helps with that, but it's not necessarily the nail in the coffin type of vibration. It's a part of the process. The thing about the mutable signs, which Sagittarius is a mutable sign, is it's a bridge. Sagittarius season is the season that bridges us from fall to winter. The first day of Capricorn season is the first official day of winter. It's the winter solstice. So there's a lot of the vibration that again speaks to the traffic, the movement, the bridging. We make certain commitments, we understand certain things, we feel certain things, and then it allows for something else to start to take shape, a new level of responsibility, a new process, a new procedure, a new development. But we only so many of us have an idea of what that new development is going to be going into 2026. If we're looking too hard, I want to be clear about this part. If we are looking too hard, then you're not going to find as big of an answer as you're actually anticipating. And I just want to be clear about that. Now, I wrote a list out of a couple different things that I am anticipating whenever it comes to this new moon, because I actually have a feeling that some people are going to have a lot of just mundane things. Mundane things are just normal daily life, a quick little commitment, a quick little event, and we don't necessarily realize that the person we met at said event, this little commitment to, yeah, I can have coffee with you, is going to lead to a business deal. It's going to lead to a relationship. It's going to lead to business opportunities. We don't even realize sometimes a quick little commitment of some sort will do extra layers of long-term connection because we can't see it yet until we've had the connection. So for some people, I'm expecting some mundane things, but mundane things can also be like purchases. You buy something because it seems like it's going to be a fun idea. But then once you really get to tinkering with it, you realize, oh, I could do other things with this. It's kind of like watching people that buy a 3D printer. At first, they're kind of buying it for fun, but then after a while, it becomes a challenge of like, what else can I do with this? I'm a Jeeper, full on. I'm a Jeeper. For those that don't know that, get me in a Wrangler. We're going to have conversations about those trails. I'm like, how are we going to get up that one? How are we going to do that? But it turns into more. It leads to adventures. It leads to something else. So I do want to be clear, for some people it would be mundane. Just a couple quick little options there. 2, Jupiter is the doctor, the guru, the teacher. Some of the things that we might deal with this week might have to do with your health or things with healthcare providers. And considering during this Jupiter Chiron scare, we have this whole thing in our American news about healthcare. And I'm literally looking at Bloomberg right now, and that's exactly the headline. We're fighting the funding of healthcare right there. I can see it on Bloomberg right now. There's things around health, healthcare needs, provider needs, and in some ways, addressing what hasn't been met to find a solution to get over a problem, or, big or here, holding them accountable because they haven't done the right things. The doctor's not doing the right things. The doctor's staff is not doing the right things. And that can be another thing. Now, speaking of health, I want to also talk about physical effects because Jupiter has a lot of rulership of the body. Your liver, if your body is feeling sluggish, you can be having extra activations towards your liver, and you should probably do at minimum changes in your water intake, lower the oils that you're bringing in, do some shots of like apple cider vinegar, however you want to do that. If you want to make it into a ginger drink or whatever, ginger is another thing that you can be doing if your body is feeling sluggish. If you are feeling something in your liver, you can do those little mundane things. And if that doesn't work, then take your ass to the doctor. I am not a medical professional. I just let you know what to look for. Okay, moving along. Your lymphatic system, if we're feeling extra puffy, your body can be holding additional fluids right now. And you might need to go do some things to shake it off. The thing about Jupiter is massive. It's about mass, and it can do things in the body, manifest in the body in ways to make you hold additional mass. That's why I'm saying this part. 2, your hips and your hip flexors. If you're feeling something when you're laying, when you're moving, when you're walking, if you're feeling things in your hips, that's a physical manifestation. And there's something you need to work out. And the thing about our hips is this is where we hold our trauma. And if there's something that's trying to come out, it manifests as hip pain. So you need to do the extra hip somatic yoga, hip working, whatever you need to do. Walking is not always going to be the right answer. So you need to do the extra movements around your hips. Okay, babies, go twerk if you need to. It happens sometimes and it helps. Your sciatic nerve, flare-ups and pinches of your nerves. This is me another way that this can physically manifest for people. Is like something it's just pinching right here, but then it radiates down to your feet. Also, the feet are ruled by Jupiter. You can be feeling something with your feet. You can also have situations where you misstep and you hurt your feet. Be aware of that. There are going to be elements towards that too, but the sciatic nerve, you can have pinches in your nerve. And if you are having a physical reaction, I would not be surprised, because I've had a lot of conversations with people this week of like, I have this memory coming up. I'm like, cool, where are you holding pain in your body? What do you mean? We go through a whole troubleshooting. And usually it comes down to like, they're really tight in the hips. I'm like, oh, there's memories, there's wounds, there's a level of healing that's trying to come out of your body. It's time to get on the floor. That's what I do. My yoga turns into puppy yoga, just FYI. So we can have healing and emotional needs, but also physical effects that are tied to health. So I'm putting all of that in together. Teaching and learning, again, doctor, guru, teacher, that's Jupiter. So some of us are going to be committing to something in this moment where we're going to do additional layers towards teaching others, looking at the opportunities to teach, looking at the method and the ways that we can teach. We can commit to something having no clue how we're going to do it yet. But the commitment of the new moon has levels of manifestation towards it. Manifestations of things that will likely not come into play until next freaking year, which is not that far away now. Some of us were committing to the learning process, and we're committing to going back to school. We're committing to going to that trade school. We're committing to going to nursing school. We're committing to the education in this new moon. For other people, the other thing about Jupiter is its abundance, prosperity, wealth, money. Okay. Our lottery here in America, because I know I have people in other countries, so I apologize. So I got to make sure I say it that right. The Powerball as of this morning was like $1.5 billion. One of us could turn into a billionaire. Let's be fair about that. If that's what you're trying to manifest the money, you're trying to manifest something towards your wealth, prosperity, and abundance. There's a lot of people that they're just very grabbed by the option and the opportunity that, like, if we could just strike this one thing, we'll be getting it good. And that's one way it can manifest. But the other ways it can manifest is we can be, again, making commitments, making connections, making aspects in our lives that can bring in money, and not just through the lottery. I mean, like, sometimes you got to work, we got to hustle. Whenever we go into 2026, there's going to be a lot of movement and a lot of hustle. So we can be committing to do something that brings forth wealth, prosperity, and abundance. There's so many layers to this new moon. And that's why I wanted to get real clear on a lot of this list, because the thing is, like, it wasn't just one thing. For a lot of us, we're committing to a change. We're committing to our healing process. We're committing to taking care of our bodies differently. We're looking for new doctors. We're looking for new teachers. We're looking to go back to school. We're applying for the loans to go back to school, if we can even get them. We're talking to people about our money plans and where we're investing our money and where we're investing our time, what we're going to do next. There's so much forward thinking And there's something about this vibration that means committing to something or completing a task, purchasing something, so something else can begin, so something else can move forward, so something else can start up. It's a transitional new moon. It's a transitional energy. And how that looks for you is going to be different than Bob, Sally, me, your mama, your brother, your sister, your auntie. It's different for everybody. But for a lot of people, it's a manifestation of change, direction, and change. But I want to be clear, it's not going to be rocket launch kind of change. It's a commitment that this is what I want to do. And then afterwards, we start taking the actual actions, planning the prospects, taking the responsibilities, doing the logical shifts over the course of the weeks as we get into the new year. So the only people that should be expecting fireworks are the people that win that $1 billion. And if you play the lottery because I told you to, then hey, hit your girl up. Anyways. anyways. I don't feel like this needs to be a heavy energy. I don't feel like we need to be too heavy in our minds. But the thing is, like, with Jupiter right now and the fact that it does have rulership over mass, there can be a weightedness that people are feeling whenever it comes to this week. But I also feel like if you are putting too much into it, if you're expecting too much right before the holidays, you're setting yourself up for failure. Let divine timing, let things happen naturally. And if you let go of the idea that you have to control every aspect of the situation, things are a lot calmer. They're a lot more helpful, and it's a lot easier. Okay. Moving along. We're going to get into this vibration. So we're going to get into the cards. Now, if you have never heard a new moon or full moon video with me before, that is completely okay. I don't care if your ascendant is at 2 degrees or 22 degrees, wherever your ascendant is wherever we're going to start. So, wow, I cannot talk. I didn't say that right at all. Wherever your ascendant is, that entire zodiac sign is your first house, and every numerical house that follows is going to be associated with the next zodiac sign. I say this all the time, and yet I just goofed it up so bad. I will be pulling cards. I don't know how fast I'll get them uploaded. I'm going to be honest. I've got a busy day, and I know I'm not going to be done until like 2:00 in the morning today after this is done. So be patient with your girl, because your girl's like super busy. Anyways. Let's get into it. Oh, for Aries and Aries risings. Okay, my loves. This is a new moon in your 9th house. Higher education, higher learning, institutions. Sometimes institutions can be hospitals. Sometimes they can be education centers. Sometimes they can be courthouses. Sometimes they can be prisons. Some of us are committing to learning something. Some of us are making actions to commit to teach something. Now, considering your chart ruler, Mars, is now in Capricorn in its exaltation, which is your 10th house of career and goals for the future and everything that you're wanting to do, there's a real interesting vibration for a lot of you that we're able to start making decisions, long-term plans for where we're going next in the next chapter. Now, the thing is, we're getting really close with that Mars now in Capricorn to that Mars rebirth that's happening in January. That's the thing I've been talking about forever. Now, the thing is, all of that happening in Saturn's sign right before Saturn completely submerges into Aries, some of the things that we commit to learn, commit to understand, commit to teaching, some of us, it's a travel energy and we're committing to going somewhere. It's like once you go there, you realize, holy crap, I want to live here. Once you get into it, you're like, oh my God, I love the way this feels. This is exactly what I want to do for the rest of my life. I just want to do this. I just want to do the thing. I want to go here. I want to do these things. And for some of us, there is a direction that is unfolding that, again, we're looking at long-term plans. It really kind of comes down to getting over your own fears. A lot of you need to get over your fears. 9 of Swords, and we'll start with that one. A lot of you need to do the things to get over your fears because there's a new energy coming through. Now, for some people, I know we have health things going on. And considering we're going to have Saturn and Neptune moving into Aries soon, some of us need to get over our fears in regards to the treatments or the way that we let certain things hold us back or the way that we let certain things from the past hold us back. We need to face things that we have been stuck mulling over, drowning over, keeping ourselves isolated from other people over, based off of the fact that we've had so much going through that 12th house for so freaking long. So again, your first one was the 9 of Swords. But then what did you get afterwards? Oh, we get this beautiful energy here. We get the Emperor card and the Empress card. We are still talking about Mars going through a rebirth, which is not common. This is not going to happen again for like 18 years, something like that. It's a long freaking time before Mars and the Sun will have a conjunction in Capricorn again. Let's be fair about that. So, knowing how long it's going to take, and this is in your 10th house of career, there are again commitments, decisions to learn certain things, to set long-term goals. The thing about the Emperor and the Empress is we're trying to reach certain things. We are trying to ascend. The Empress is the mother of mothers. The Emperor is controller of everything. Everybody reports to him, reports to you. A lot of ways you are either going to be committing to something to where you are going to be caring for a lot of people for a very long time based off of the new vibration that is starting to set in, or you're making commitments with and around other people where you're going to have a lot of responsibility and a lot of charge. And considering Saturn is going to be coming into your first house, he's going to push some responsibility hardcore. We have this Judgment card and we have the 8 of Wands, but I also have this Knight of Coin. I want to do this right now. Many of the decisions that are starting to get made right now are requiring us to make decisions for long-term plans. We want to be strategic. We want to be boastful. We want to be bountiful. We again want to do the things that help us overcome our fears, especially the fears that hold us back. We're getting closer to a new direction, but that new direction is going to have a lot of responsibility to it. It's going to have a lot of strain, stress, sure, anything whenever it comes to responsibility or ownership is going to have that. But once we make these decisions, Judgment card, everything moves very, very fast from here. And whenever it comes to how many transits are going to be going between fire and air signs going into 2026. And in this Chinese astrology, 2026 is a metal horse. And I keep explaining this to people like, think it's horsepower. Okay. It's a Mach 5. It's a Mustang. It's horsepower. Metal horse, fast, forged, capable, protected, can accomplish. Once we get into next year, it moves very, very quickly. But whatever we're doing in this commitment, it is committing to something to learn, committing to go somewhere that gives us inspiration. It's committing to something that allows for elements of healing. It is committing to learning, the teaching, the extra aspects and grasping that we haven't considered up until this point. But once we start making some of these selections, it's like little light bulb moments that follow. Things will start to click, especially once we get into the new year. And that's not that far away, babies. It's really not. It's really, really not. Okay. Moving along. Okay. We're going to get to Taurus and Taurus risings. All right, my loves. This is a full moon in your 8th house. Death, debt, taxes, inheritance, shared assets, shared resources, loans, insurance, anything whenever it comes to money and other people are involved, whether they owe you some money or you taking out some money, there is something financial underway. For a lot of you, it's financial. However, for some of you, it might be a secret. Let's be fair about that. There could be secrets that are coming to the surface because The eighth house is a house of secrets. So if you're having to deal with somebody's secrets, understanding an affair, understanding that other people have been doing something, don't be surprised if some kind of thing that has been hidden from you has finally come to light. It is making you make some different decisions. Why am I saying it that way? Sometimes secrets are not affairs. Secrets are more along the lines of like, you have no idea your roommate is about to move out until they finally come clean of like, yeah, I got a job in another state and I've been trying to figure out a way to tell you that I'm not going to be here next year. I'm moving out at Christmas. Like, what? That's so fast. You're right. It is so fast. But I'm looking at the fact that Venus, your chart ruler, is also in that eighth house. So for some of you, the secret might not necessarily be some big hoity-toity type of like betrayal affair type of thing. It could be something super mundane of like, again, your roommate has decided to make a decision and now it's going to impact you financially and you got to make some hard decisions. For some of you, you're spending some money to go somewhere. We want to go on a trip. We want to do some extra thing. We're making some final little financial decisions around where we're going next in career, what we're looking at in our opportunities. The thing about having Venus in Jupiter sign, period, it doesn't matter if it's Sagittarius or Pisces, is she's super happy here. She's all about it. Like that Jupiterian energy, it just kind of floods her senses. And yeah, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling happy. I'm feeling boastful. And for a lot of you, there is kind of an optimism. If it's not the optimism, then it's more of that impulse energy. But even the impulse can be fueled with something more positive if we are not wanting to call it optimism. We have the Nine of Cups. You have really beautiful cards, by the way. So with the Nine of Cups, I always look at this card as like it's better to be lucky than smart. And sometimes just because your roommate is going to move out, it doesn't mean that you're not going to be able to find a replacement really, really fast. And that replacement might be your best friend that you didn't even realize that this could be an option. But as soon as that opportunity was there, it was like, hey, I got this idea. You want to hear something? Page of Swords. New information coming to light, new things coming into focus, some kind of decision. The thing about the swords is there's no emotions here, but this is opportunity. This is getting some kind of notice, getting some type of word, getting some type of decision, that this is the most logical thing to do. And because we take on this energy in a more positive light, if we choose to. Now, if you choose to be all, pissy because somebody wants to move on with their life, that's a you choice. And I want to be clear about that. But if we're going to be hopeful, if we're going to go into the optimism, if we're going to be happy about something, then we look at it in the sense of life did not give me lemons. I'm turning that crap into the prettiest, colorful lemonade ever. Like, I'm going to make it work. And I really want people to be more in the optimistic vibration than the negative. And again, your cards are speaking to that. Some of you might just be happier being on your own. If your roommate's moving out, I'm just sticking with the idea of roommate. It could be a relationship, it could be any of these things. But for this conversation, I'm just going to say roommate. The Nine of Coins, I always call this a boss bitch card. It is Priscilla, the bad bitch who put her own seeds in the ground, grew her own crops, took that crap to the farmer's market, made all the money, did her influencer thing, made that money too, and is just happy on her own, doing her own thing. Boss bitch vibes. That's the Nine of Coins. For some of you, this little change as it comes to the surface, can it immediately kind of feel alarming of like, oh, why are you leaving? Why is this happening? What is that change? But that doesn't mean that the change is wrong. In fact, be like, you know what? That means I can turn that room into a studio. I can do something with my business. I can grow it, put it into a grow room. I'm going with the idea of the crops now. That's why I'm saying that. It's like, I'm going to do a whole little bedroom of microgreen farming. Like, it's going to be great. And it's going to allow for you to make a decision to put things into balance, or their decision, because it could be from the other side, is allowing and restoring balance. Justice card. There's something about the restoration of balance. It's putting things back into order. And again, once certain things come to light, once we get it revealed, once it gets connected, once it comes into play and be like, okay, well, that's fine. Do you need help moving? Do you already have like a U-Haul thing? Are you going to have friends over? Is there anything I need to do? Is there anything else I need to know? No, I'm just moving out. I got this option. I'm just using that as the same example. Things move very quickly from here. Eight of Wands. And I'm telling you, in the long run, you're going to be a lot happier with the result because we also have this 10 of Cups. You have really beautiful cards. If something comes up and it's shocking at first, allow the shock to be real, but don't look at it from a wound perspective. Look at it from the opportunity perspective. Because for a lot of you, there's going to be an opportunity that starts to take shape very, very quickly. And again, as we go into January, I keep talking about Mars's conjunction to the sun because that's the bigger of the two vibrations. But please note, I just said two. Not only will Mars go into a conjunction with the sun, but simultaneously, so will Venus. So will your chart ruler. And whatever new vibration is coming through, whether it is chaotic disruptive or pivotal disruption, there's still a benefit that comes to light there also because Venus is involved. You can still benefit. You can still get some extra opportunity that you don't even realize is coming. Don't take anything that comes to light this week as a negative. I promise you, babies, it's an opportunity. Okay, moving along. Moving along, moving along, moving along. I'm getting my voice back now. Sorry. For Geminis and Gemini risings, the thing about your chart ruler right now is it is in the seventh house. Where is this new moon? Also in the seventh house. So what does that mean? Y'all ain't focused on yourself. You are focused on other people. You're dealing with other people. You're dealing with their drama. You're dealing with their legal aspects. You're dealing with something around contracts. You're talking about them and their daddy issues. Some of you are asking for other people's perspective on your daddy issues. The family issues. Sometimes you're looking at the dynamics of how other people interact with their family and be like, wow, maybe my family's not as screwed up as I thought it was. Or it's more along the lines of like, oh, maybe my family is really screwed up. I thought this was normal behavior. This is not normal behavior. We don't just, okay. Okay. Yeah. A lot of the focus. New moon in the seventh house, your chart ruler, I'm not Mars. Why did I say Mars? Mercury, also in the seventh house. There's something tied to the other side, other people, a legal matter that will also have a financial influence as we start to get into the new year. There's something that is changing. Something that is starting to take shape. For some of you, the thing about Mercury being in Sagittarius, what I said in the weekly episode is like, once we're here, like there's an ADHD brain for a lot of you. We can't focus. We're bouncing all around. We're trying to do like 20 things at once. And for some of you, there can be a lot of overwhelm. The more things keep piling on by other people, and you need to take stock as to like what is yours to handle, what is yours to focus on. And some of it, sometimes you got to remember, not my problem. Not my problem. It really kind of comes down to if you're taking on too much of other people's drama, because the focus right now is not on you, it is around other people. But it's very easy that whenever you start to involve yourself with these situations, that it's like you're turning their problems into your problems. And that's not necessary. You don't need to do that. So just be aware of that. Listen to your intuition, listen to your gut. If something doesn't feel right, High Priestess card, then it doesn't feel right. If you're having certain emotional things coming to the surface, if you're feeling those effects in your body, like I was talking about before, listen to your body. It tells you things. The more connected you are with your body, the more it's going to help you. And considering with Mercury and Sag right now, sometimes you guys are going to be struggling to think clearly. Listen to your body. High Priestess card. Okay. Okay. And again, we have this Seven of Cups that followed it, and that is that overwhelm. I always look at the Seven of Cups as like spinning plates. The people that can do like the spinning plate rotation. Well, the thing is like if you don't tap those sticks at the right time with the right velocity, with the right momentum and the right movement, you can knock everything down by one bad tap. I don't want to say hit, tap. And it's very easy to have one bad encounter and turn it into something frustrating and turn it into a problem that it doesn't need to be. And I'm telling you, a lot of you are getting into situations where you need to make decisions, Two of Wands, of whether this is your problem or not. Is this your pig? Is this your farm or not? Two of Wands. I always look at the Two of Wands like it's a fork in the road. You can continue doing the same thing over and over again, hoping for a new Opportunity, hoping for a new option, hoping for a different outcome. And by doing the same thing over and over again, expecting something new, that's committing to the insanity. You either make decisions to commit to the insanity or you look at different opportunities. And some of you, for you to get where you want to be financially, Nine of Coins is your next card. You need to consider a different path. Going back to this Two of Wands. You need to consider the different options. You need to consider the different opportunities. You need to consider the ways that you're making money. You need to consider the things that brings your heart happiness. The Queen of Cups, she wears her heart on her sleeve. She's always keeping her emotions in order. This is a very Pisces card, therefore it's a very Jupiterian card. Whenever it comes to this vibration, we want things that bring us happiness. And for some of you, luck is on your side. It's again making the decision to no longer commit to certain insanities, to no longer make other people's problem your problem, to no longer do the things that your body reacts to negatively. There's sometimes that people don't even realize this. Like you walk into a place and your whole body just stiffens up. Your body is telling you this isn't a place for you. You walk into a situation and you can feel yourself like wanting to bounce from place to place. And that's exactly where you're supposed to be. Listen to your body. It's telling you things. It's telling you these are good people. It's telling you if you're in the right place. It's telling you if you need to make a change. And a lot of people need to make some changes. Okay. I move along. We move along. We're going to go to Cancers and Cancer risings. This is a new moon in your sixth house of health, how you care for yourself, how you care for other people. This can also have to do with pets, just to be clear. There are going to be things around this area. But considering the ruler of your sixth house of health is also in your first house, some of y'all are making some commitments to change something in your routine, to change something in your work, to do something different, to start meeting with new people. Like there is a shift, but in some ways, it's not necessarily coming from other people. It's you needing to make this decision. And that can lead to some disruptions whenever it comes to some relationships in the near future, but it doesn't have to. The thing about Jupiter being in your first house, and I've said this for a while, is for a lot of you, it's something that is forcing you to heal and rebuild your confidence. And remember, Jupiter is in a square to Chiron in your 10th house of career. The 10th house can also be your plans for the future. It can have to do with your public image. It can also have to do with fathers and father figures. Some of you need to commit to doing something different in your work, in your routine, because that's what's going to help you understand a different path or overcome certain wounds tied to your career, tied to the future, tied to that level of prospect. For some of you, there's something going on in health, and it's like the only person that can help you is your dad. Some of you, you're about to start taking care of your dad if you haven't been already. There is something in this vibration, the new moon in the sixth house, that is forcing a change, but that change is also going to impact people immediately. And for many of you, it's going to have a public vibration. Now, I said this in the last one. I said this back in the full moon video that I did a couple weeks ago, the full moon in Gemini. You guys need to be real clear about the things that have been going on, because there can be secrets or there can be other things that are about to come into light. They're about to come into focus. They're about to be getting addressed with a lot of people. And you guys can either be in a situation to where everything that happens does these things to rebuild your confidence because there's a level of accountability finally being held to the other side, or big or whatever starts coming from the other side has a judgment towards you. And I hope we've paid attention. I hope we've done some homework, because we're getting really close to the things that need to come to light, to the needs to come to the surface. I always look at the magician card as like, this is the alchemist. He's MacGyver. He can create something out of nothing. Give him a rubber band and a big pen, and he can turn it into anything. He can pick a door lock. He can do so much. There's something that is manifesting, something mercurial in a lot of ways that it's coming through. It's coming to light. There's more information coming through. There's shifts coming through. And as more and more comes to light, a lot of your intuition is getting confirmed. High Priestess card. The thing with the High Priestess card, look at that moon right there. You see that right there? Intuitive energy. You are ruled by the moon. Listen to your intuition. If something for months has been telling you that ain't right over there, that hasn't been going on, you're about to either recently you've had it already, or you're about to get the confirmation that you were right the entire time, that that wasn't the right thing. And it's like we've been waiting this entire time for some additional news to come through, some additional level of confirmation. But this Page of Wands is igniting. It's wildfire ignition of like, as soon as it comes through, it opens a doorway, it opens a path, it forces something into perspective, it forces something into focus. And for many of you, it's going to also encompass some splits in the road. For some of you, the splits are going to be because you're being held accountable from the other side. You have no other choice but to go in another direction. That's one way. Or it's because you are able to do what you need to do to hold the other side accountable. You find it easy to let go of people because they decide to start splitting from you. Two of Wands. The emotional relief that's going to follow. This isn't just during the new moon, by the way. This is like weeks of energy that I'm talking about. You will have so much emotional energy that kind of comes to light, certain things that are going to come into the focus that are, again, confirming a lot of your intuition, but it's also giving more and more emotional gratification to your healing process with this moon card. And then it's being followed by the 10 of Cups. Many of you are going to like the outcome of whatever comes through next. But again, it comes down to personal karma. Have you been doing the right thing? Because if you haven't, whatever happened next is good on your side. If not, your intuition told you not to do it and you just went against it, and that's a you problem. Anyways, moving along. We're going to get to Leos and Leo risings. How y'all feeling? You guys should actually be feeling pretty decent. Like a different kind of motivation is clicking in. This is a new moon in your 5th house of love and luck and joy and romance and happiness and children. Something that brings you happiness, something that speaks to your inner child, a creative energy. For some people, it's going to be love. Got a new little romantic connection. We got a new little flirt. Somebody new that we're coming through. The only thing about the flirt that I don't like about this is there could be something that you do not see. And the reason I say that is because the ruler of your 5th house, Jupiter, is in the 12th. If it is a flirtation, new person coming through kind of thing, make sure that they're quality, not just like somebody that fills a void just because you're bored. Make sure it's a quality individual, because you might have certain things that it either triggers part of your healing process, Jupiter in the 12th, or it'll be a hidden enemy that you don't know about. And it might not come through for a while. So be a little cautious if this is getting into romantic energy. But if it's a creative energy, it's a part of your healing process. It speaks to your emotional needs. If it is going to put some things into perspective in regards to healing in a directional sense, that can go well. For some of you, this is going to have to do with kids. The thing about this new moon is it's squaring Neptune in the 8th house. Venus is also squaring Saturn in your 8th house. For some of you, this is going to have to do with kids, but also the finances, the costs of some things. And whenever it comes to that, if things don't go your way, there can be some overwhelm. In fact, there can be some things that feel like betrayal. And again, with Jupiter in the 12th, you have hidden enemies. But the thing is, it can very quickly turn into a different course of action if that is in fact the case. Many of you can also have things regarding physical health. Now, considering we're gearing up for the things in January where we're going to have Venus and the Sun and Mars do their triple conjunction in your 6th house of health. That's how you care for yourself, how you care for other people. There can be something in this vibration that feels really good in the moment, but then it's going to lead to something different changing in your work, lead to something changing in your routine, or you're feeling some kind of creative energy and it leads into something else kind of taking shape from here, because we're going to want to change different financial aspects, different directions. For some of you, you're committing to something and it's just getting you so happy, but it's also going to change something in your routine. It's changing something in your work. It's changing something in your direction. I feel like a lot of you are either about to go back to school, or you're going to be teaching school, or you're going to be doing something different, like in this kind of vibration. But it's just coming to terms with the fact that you have to let some overwhelm go. No matter what, in the moment, this is a good placement. A fifth house, new moon, love, luck, joy, romance, happiness, children. It's the extra layers. It's the squares to Pisces, so your eighth house. It's the extra layers that can have challenge. If it's the romantic connection, we can still have some things that go on behind our back. So I want people to be very, very clear about some of the choices that you are making, because it's very quickly that if it has to do with the children and the financial part, a lot of this can feel overwhelming. If you thought you had certain people on your side, some of you might realize that there has been stuff going on behind your back and you've had some hidden enemies. We have the Seven of Swords, but we also have this Hermit card. These are the negative cards. Let's be fair about this. But for some of you, once you see somebody's actions and you realize they're not going to help, they're not going to do the right thing, they're not going to do what they say that they're going to do, then another opportunity, another path to do something different seems to open up. This is not all directly in the new moon. This is kind of in the weeks around it. And for some of you, that means making certain decisions to do things differently on your own. Nine of coins, boss bitch card. Okay. It's the woman. She plants all her seeds. She grows all her crops. She takes those things to market. She makes her money. She does her influencer videos. She makes her money with that too. She does the extra things to make sure financially she is covered. With this type of energy, we can be making decisions to do something different on our own, to make money, to do things different in our routine, to do things different in our path and in our passion. And in the long run, there are going to be even more additional benefits to that, because we also have this 10 of coin. If we're fighting over kids, this is not going to be fun. If we're doing a new romantic connection, put an asterisk next to it. I'm a little leery on it because, again, Jupiter's in the 12th. But for other people, it's connecting to something and allowing some things to fall into place that if they actually make you happy, if you're able to tap into that inner child, it can also connect to parts of your healing process. And the more you connect to that healing process, the more you can start to make steps in a new direction, connecting to people differently. And again, there is something in the long run that you guys are either going back to school, you're traveling abroad. I didn't say that earlier, but I'm saying it now. And we're making some of the decisions. Like as soon as we make the financial decision to do this, the flood of emotion is just pure happiness. So it's actually a really good new moon for you guys. It's just a matter of like the mundane human effect of how it's manifesting. Okay, moving along. For Virgos and Virgo risings, this is a new moon in your fourth house, home life, family, roots, ancestry, mothers, matrons, genetics. You inherit more things from your parents than your eye color and your hair. There's other things that can come through, and that is genetics. For many of you, considering your chart ruler, Mercury is also in the fourth house, there's something that is shifting around the home life, shifting around family, putting some things in order. And for some of you, part of the family change that's going on, either you aren't making it, it's somebody else making it, because this new moon is squaring Neptune in the 7th and Venus will be squaring Saturn in the 7th. Some of you, you're in a support position. You're helping someone else do their thing. You're a part of the process for somebody else and their thing. And you're kind of in a support role. Now, for some of you, that means supporting your loved ones. For some of you, that means supporting your family. For some of you, that means once certain new long-term decisions kind of get made and connected to and committed to, then there's a direction towards new things, new path, a new part of the future that we did not anticipate. But it moves so quickly. And for a lot of you, It's really happy. You get to a point that there's enjoy. I'm not saying this word, that you enjoy the direction, you enjoy the hopefulness, you enjoy the change. But that also means for some of you, we have to make some decisions that are going to be a little bit harder because not everybody's going to like the decision. Hear me out. You got a business partner situation. New moon squaring Saturn and Neptune in the seventh. You have a business partner situation, you have a relationship of some sort, you have a legal matter of some sort. That once you tell the family, once you tell everybody, you make it very, very clear that this is the path and the direction moving forward. And that means in some ways I might be leaving some people behind because Jupiter, the ruler of this new moon and the ruler of Pisces, where Saturn and Neptune is retrograde in the 11th house of friends, network, clients, and colleagues. Some of y'all are going to be telling some truth that we've had to make some very hard decisions. So Ace of Swords, Two of Swords, to go in a different path, to follow our business partner, to go with our spouse. Like we're talking about the only way I can make this happen is if I file the lawsuit. Sometimes it's going to be a lawsuit with the seventh house stuff. But considering Saturn and Neptune are wrapping up Pisces, this isn't a new lawsuit. Or if it is a new lawsuit, you should have filed it 2 years ago. Like it's that kind of thing if it's a lawsuit. But for a lot of people, it's more like because I'm focused on the other side, because I'm focused on this commitment, because I'm focused on this connection, I am in support, hopeful, loving support in a new direction. So that's the first two cards. But once certain things kind of fall into place, so once the other side, Knight of Coins, makes the decision, they make the commitment, they make the actions, they've had the meetings, they do the thing, Knight of Coins, it's a long-term plan. It's a long-term decision. It's allowing for certain things to commit in a certain way, Two of Cups. It's allowing you and that partner to commit on a whole new level, Two of Cups. There's a romanticism sometimes whenever you have squares to Neptune. And if we're in a healthy relationship, that's a good thing. But for other people, you're going to be telling your family that something is going on. And that square to Neptune, they'll be like, why do you believe this? Like, oh, I don't know. But even if somebody tells you that something isn't as real as it sounds, like you're not quick to believe them because Neptune blinds our senses. But for a lot more people, it's more of a manifestation energy. And again, we're supporting the other side, making new long-term commitments. Knight of Coin, Two of Cups, because we want these things that are going to bring additional levels of connection, additional levels of happiness, Six of Cups. And of course, we have the Eight of Wands. Once we get into the new year, things go fast. Holy crap, they go so fast. So many of the planets are going to be in air and fire signs. Things spread like wildfire. That's the way I keep putting it in layman's terms of like news spreads, information spreads, word is spreading, things go fast. Our minds are going fast. There's a lot of vibration to how quick things are going to go once we get into the new year. And for a lot of you, wherever we go next, regretfully, it's kind of a follow the leader situation. It's more because of the other side than yourself. The thing about the South Node being in Virgo in your first house is it's a shedding. It's the body of the dragon that was disgraced, removed, let go of. But we also have to think of things in ourselves that we're willing to sacrifice, that we're willing to let go of, so the other side can prevail, so the other side can succeed. And that's the North Node in Pisces, the North Node in the seventh house. And this is why I'm saying for you guys for a while, there's something sacrificial. There is something that you are doing different. There is something that you are changing because it's the betterment for the partnership, for the other side, to make something else shift into shape. A lot of the energy right now, it's not y'all's. I said it in the last full moon video. I'm saying it again now. Y'all are in a support position. I feel like you're going to be here for a while. And really long term, it could go all the way to eclipse season. That doesn't mean life doesn't happen, but I feel like you guys are in a support position. Okay. Moving along. For Libras and Libra risings. This is a new moon in your third house. Short distance travel, things going on with your siblings, education, sales, marketing, some of the things that we're communicating, plans that we're trying to put into order. Once we put them into order, like it's going to have a bigger impact. There can be things that come to light in regards to career. Some of us might have to do some additional training or education or learning or teaching to be able to do that. Some of you all have to really look at the idea that for wherever we want to go next in career, that means we actually have to make a different kind of change. What kind of change? We got to move. Some of y'all are going to be looking at like long distance jobs. You're going to be looking at remote jobs. Like if you're looking at another aspect of your career that allows for you to make some changes. Some of you are starting to communicate certain things with other people that is going to directly impact your home life because of how everything follows from here. Some of y'all are going to be dealing with like having to learn new things because it's the only thing that's going to appease the boss and make him happy, or him, her, whoever. You got the Emperor card. That's why I said him. But some of you are going to be making the commitment that you're going to do some additional level of teaching or training because the way that you've been doing things in your career, they're no longer bringing you happiness. They're not bringing you fulfillment. And for a lot of you, there's a certain amount of decisions that are coming underway that 6 months ago you would not have thought you're having to face, but you're having to face them now, Two of Swords. And for some of you, you have to communicate this decision that I can't get a job in this market. I can't get a job in this field. It's not paying the same. The opportunities aren't there. The only thing that makes sense is I'm going to have to go back to school, new moon in the third, education. I'm going to have to go to the next town over. So I'm in Tulsa, which is a major city in Oklahoma, but there's like really only two major cities. There's this and our actual state capital. So it'd be like, I am not getting anything in Tulsa, so I'm going to have to go to Oklahoma City, or vice versa. I'm going to go from Oklahoma City to Dallas, Fort Worth. Like it's the only way it makes sense. I'm going to have to change my market. Considering we're getting closer to not only the Mars rebirth, because I've been saying that one for a while, but whenever we get into January, it's not just Mars going through that rebirth, it's simultaneously with Venus in your fourth house of home, home life, family, roots, ancestry. Some of y'all need to communicate decisions that you did not want to make, that you're kind of going to have to make some changes to walk away from some places, walk away from some fields, and do something very, very different. The Eight of Cups is walking away from things that no longer give us fulfillment. But the Three of Coins is a very Texas card. I'm so glad I said Dallas Fort Worth, by the way. It's a very Texas oil field card, but it's an industrious card. It's a hardworking card. It's doing certain amounts of work that allows for something bigger to take shape. And again, some of y'all are doing some additional levels of training because it's going to make your boss happy. Some of you are looking at going back to school or moving to another region or area or something like that, because it's going to give you the chance to be in a whole different path and in charge of your future in a whole different way. With the Emperor card, it really kind of comes down to how the weeks of that Mercury retrograde have fed into this, because some of you are really tight on money with this Four of Coins, like we're holding certain things close to our chest. It's almost like sometimes the debt is overwhelming whenever it comes to the ideas of this. But the thing is, like, there is a certain level of judgment that has to be taken. And for some of you, the only way to get to something better, to get to this new vibration, to get onto the next level, to go forward into whatever you're going to do next for your new normal, means making some very hard judgment calls, decisions that we don't want to face, putting truths out there that we need to put out there. And for a lot of you, that's also going to be meaning being very truthful about what you need to walk away from and the things that no longer give you fulfillment, whether that is a job, whether that is a person, whether that is a group of friends that you'd normally do stuff with. Like, I cannot do this D&D thing anymore. Like, I don't like the dungeon master. Walk away. But then have a plan for what you're going to do to replace it. That's the bigger thing. Okay, moving along. Oh, for Scorpios and Scorpio risings, we're not really the problem. But we're also really not putting up with anyone else's crap either. Let's be fair. Oh, this is a new moon in the second house of money, your assets, the way that you make money, the way that you spend money. We have financial changes underway. Some of us have had asset changes. Some of us have bought a new phone. I didn't buy a new phone, but I finally got my phone back. I forgot to say that earlier. My communication stuff is not as limited as it was. I'm messing up so bad right now. Hold the phone. Hold the phone is obviously a state, but I had to pause everything to go get the card because the first card that popped out right here went flying. I had to move to get over to get it. It's amazing how that happens sometimes. But it's a new moon in your second house of money. Again, your money, your assets, the way that you make money, the way that you spend money. We have financial things kind of coming through. Some of us are having to spend some money on new assets, new stuff. That's a very mundane way for this to come through. Some of us are making some commitments, again, towards a new way of making money. Now, the thing about Mars now being in Capricorn is some of us are making commitments to travel. That could be one way to do it. Some of us are making commitments in something that we're going to market and communicate differently. And there's a long-term vibration that is still underway whenever it comes to this new moon. And the commitment, the connection, the revealing, the meeting that's happening is allowing for a new direction to finally come into place that is going to be better than anything that we had before. It's allowing something new to come through. The thing about Mars getting closer to the rebirth that's going to happen in Capricorn is the fact that afterwards Saturn will be moving into the sixth house. And for some of us, that's going to be some health issues. I'm not going to lie, that's a big possibility. The other thing it's going to do is it's going to give us another thing, something bigger and different in our routine, how we are of service, how we care for certain people. It is going to elevate our hustle. It's going to elevate our hustle. It's going to elevate the things that we're wanting to do. It is going to give us some opportunity to finally do things that we haven't been able to do in a very long time. The commitment, the little bits of meeting, wherever you're going, whatever you're doing, that's happening right around this energy. It's allowing other things to kind of fall into place. It's just not letting the overwhelm, because again, this is the first card that came out, take hold and take over. Now, I don't know about you guys, but as soon as Mars went into Capricorn, one, I could feel it. And two, I feel like every day I'm getting like 50, 60 things done. Like, oh, yes, I can be productive. I'm so happy with this. And there can be little things that start to come through that allow for us to, one, be productive, but two, overcome a lot of the things that have been very overwhelming for a while. The thing about all of the Sagittarius energy, and of course that Mercury retrograde that went between Sagittarius and Scorpio, is there was a lot of overwhelm deep within of things that have been bothering us, things that we needed to work on in our healing process, things that we need to make changes, but it was very hard to make the changes. But once we start making these new little vibrations, so with our next two cards, we have the Page of Cups, we have the Page of Swords, and we have the Knight of Coins. Some of the new information, some of the new opportunities that come through Page of Swords is going to allow us to make some decisions that actually feel hopeful. It actually makes us feel a little bit happier. It actually kind of speaks to our heart a little bit. Page of Cups. But again, we have this Knight of Coins. Whatever opportunities can be coming through can have a long-term vibration to them. It's just, this is that point where we make the decision to go in this new long-term direction, to start making some revisions and changes for a new long-term plan, a new long-term growth. And whatever that looks like is going to be better than the things we leave behind. Six of Swords. In the traditional deck, a Six of Swords is a woman on a boat. You can't see where the coastline is because everything is foggy. So therefore you cannot see where she's going and she cannot see what she leaves behind. She could crash on rocks and it would not matter to her because whatever she's doing is got to be better than what she left behind. And for many of y'all, again, some of these long-term decisions, Knight of Coins, allows for us to finally leave some things behind, things that are not giving us fulfillment, things that are holding us back, and doing something much more financially independent, Nine of Coins, on our own for ourselves. The Nine of Coins is a boss bitch card. It is. It's taking the seeds, growing the crops, taking them to the farmer's market, shaking our booty on TikTok for the influencer money, doing the extra things to speak to our own abundance and prosperity. It's not about anybody else. It's the things that give us happiness, things that make us feel complete. That's the main thing right here. make decisions that actually make you feel good. If that means buying something, go buy it. But also come up with a plan with how you're going to use it. If it means we're going to be doing some new long-term business plan, make the commitment, but also be prepared for all the work that it's going to take to make that hustle make sense. There's work that follows once we make these commitments, babes. Just FYI, we're about to get real productive real fast. All right, moving along. All right, we're going to get to Sagittarius and Sagittarius risings, babies. Sometimes y'all are the problem. In this case, some of this energy is you're the problem. You're doing something different. Now, what are you doing different? Something for yourself. Anytime you have a new moon in the first house, it's your mind, your body, your identity, you. Some of y'all might be feeling the physical effects of this new moon. That's what I was talking about. Like some of y'all are going to be feeling it in your body. So new moon in the first house, there's an awareness of something here. But for some people, it's not a physical effect. It's getting our head and heart in alignment, and it's finding something that's going to give us pleasure. And for some of you, there is a financial element here because Jupiter is in the 8th house. And some of y'all have to make certain connections, have certain meetings, make certain new decisions that are going to impact your money. But for other people, it's not going to be that. It's going to be making commitments for ourselves that instigate healing transformation in our emotional needs, transformation in the things that give us hope, that give us abundance. Now, some of y'all, whatever mundane decisions that you are making in this new moon, it is going to impact the home life because this new moon and Venus will be squaring Saturn and Neptune in the 4th. It's going to impact the family. It's going to impact the home life. It's going to impact your mother. It is going to impact something around this area. It's going to impact more than one person. But in a lot of ways, it's the best decision to be made, and it is your decision to make. So if you commit to doing something new, make sure it's going to be something that, again, brings you peace, brings you happiness. We do have this 2 of coins. I always look at this card as like, it's kind of an eclipse card. So it's got the Libra element, but it's also got this eclipse energy. Remember, some of the things I've been saying for a while is like, we have not experienced the gains, the Jupiterian gains of the eclipse axis until these recent months. But the initial energy around the Jupiterian gains requires large amounts of healing. And some of the decisions, 2 of coins, are things that are meant to restore balance. And they are something that speaks through the eclipse axis right now. So I'm really glad, because a lot of signs have been getting the 2s, but it's like 2 of wands, 2 of swords. You guys actually got the 2 of coins, and I'm really glad that you guys got this one, because I feel like this speaks to a lot. The decisions that you are making are also the necessary parts of your healing process, so where you can actually experience whatever gains we're getting from the North Node being in Pisces. So there is decisions underway. And a lot of the decisions, again, are about getting our head and heart in alignment. Temperance card, making sure we're feeling aligned, making sure we're feeling in balance, what our body needs, what we need to do different, our routine, what we're needing to do different for ourselves, the way that we're getting identified for certain people. And whenever we finally let go of some of the things that have been holding us back with this 3 of swords, the thing about the 3 of swords, it is a betrayal card, but I'm also thinking back to what we've dealt with in recent weeks whenever we were going through all the 12th house energy. So everything that was going through Scorpio, including the Mercury retrograde that started in Sagittarius, but wound up in Scorpio. For some of you, by letting go of the past betrayals, 3 of swords, right here, by letting go of the past betrayals, by finding a way to heal something, by finding ways to transform something, we're going to speak to other things that bring a lot of happiness. We have the 6 of cups energy. Things are going to go really fast from here, Chariot card. And I think in the end, we're going to be very happy with a lot of the results with this 10 of cups. We have the 6 of cups, we have the Chariot card, and we have the 10 of cups. There's something very, very happy, very, very hopeful, a whole different level of abundance kind of coming through. But we also have to commit to the transformation of what's coming next, of what happens next, of the direction that we're going next. You have to make a decision for you in your own emotional needs and not let the weight of the past hold you back. That's the big thing that I can say. And then as we get into January, we're going to go very quickly into some very big financial changes, but that doesn't have to be negative. And I just want people to be aware of that. We're getting closer to something. Okay, moving along, moving along. We're going to get to Capricorns and Capricorn risings. Oh, my loves. All right. This is a new moon in your 12th house of the unknown, the unseen, endings, betrayal, things going on behind your back, things that you have been excluded from, people that you have been excluded from. Some of y'all are being around some people and it's just like they're hitting your nerves, but you can't really explain it. And there's a stagnancy still for you in so many ways. But the good news is, once we get through the end of the year, the stagnancy will not continue. Now, the reason you guys have felt stagnant for a while is the fact that, one, you have a lot of transits going through the 12th house, the unknown, the unseen, betrayal, things along these lines. But we also have Saturn still at 25 degrees. This is where he has been for 6 weeks now. Literally since like Halloween, Saturn has been at 25 degrees. Your chart ruler has been stuck in one place. He ain't been going anywhere. He ain't been doing anything. And for a lot of you, you have had to have some kind of change, have some kind of turnaround, make some big decisions to let some things go so you can finally feel better. And a lot of what we're letting go has been triggered by the other side, because Jupiter, the ruler of Pisces, which is where Saturn is, which is where your chart ruler is, Jupiter, the ruler of everything that's going on in the 12th house, this new moon, Venus, Mercury, blah, blah, blah. Because of all of this 12th house stuff and the fact that Saturn has been stuck for a while, that's exactly how you guys have been feeling. But Jupiter has been triggering the things that you need to work through, the things that you need to heal, the things that you need to overcome. And again, once we get into the new year, we're not going to feel stuck much more. We've needed the triggers from the other side. We've needed the triggers from Jupiter in the 7th. I'm calling them triggers because it's the best way I can describe it. We've needed the other person for the different level of accountability. We've needed other people for us to understand parts of our own emotional healing differently. We've needed somebody else to hit the buttons. There's certain places of your body you can't touch. There's that one center in the back. You can never scratch it. Your arms won't get back there. You need an extra person. For many of you, since the summer, you've needed a very specific energy to come from the other side to allow for you to connect to certain amounts of your emotions, moon card, to heal something. And now that everything's going through your 12th house, it's like a recovery energy. It's finally letting go. It's finally releasing. It's coming to terms with some things, because we're getting really close to some very big vibration for you guys that's going to require, yes, decisions, but the decision around here could be like letting something go, especially if it has to do with like health or, again, a partnership or a relationship. Many of you are at a point that we're finally done with something. We got to let something go. We got to have decisions to do that. But after we make the decisions, it's like it's going to allow for a different level of discovery within yourself. This is going to be more once we get into the new year. So I'm making it very easy to let go of whatever we let go of, because it's going to open up space for a lot more connections. 3 of Cups. It's going to open up space for a different type of commitment with other people. Jupiter. In Vedic astrology, Jupiter is the marker for husbands, and you have Jupiter in your 7th house of partnership right now. Okay? We can make different kind of connections going into the new year, different kind of commitments. Sometimes commitments are business partnerships, and I want to be fair about that. That's why I say commitments. But with the Lover card, we have things coming together. And what is it followed with? Oh, look at that, baby. The 10 of Cups. God forbid you self-loathing people are actually happy about something. And don't take offense to that, because you know full well you guys are your biggest critics. You are a big asshole to everybody, but especially yourself. So again, we've needed to finally let some things go, release some things, get through this stuck, stagnant energy, because it's going to allow for new connections and new commitments in the new year. Okay? 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 Are you listening? Some of you guys are in healthy connections, but we haven't hit like the level that we want in our connection. So you've been dating for a while, but we haven't hit like the full boyfriend, girlfriend, Facebook status type of thing. We're not posting each other on each other's Instagrams. For some of you, you've been holding back, not wanting to do that. For some of you, you've been waiting for somebody else. And we're getting closer to either making the decision of like, if you ain't going to post me, then I ain't going to post you either. Guess what? I'll look for somebody else that will. Or we're going to see the dynamic finally shift to where that relationship level can also level up as well. Because for a lot of Capricorn risings, you're about to have a very different focus on what you want in family, what you want in your relationship, but the home life you wish to provide. And it's a whole different maternal energy that's getting set up for a lot of Capricorn risings. There's a different family dynamic, home life dynamic. And for many of you, you are looking for a quality of individual that's worth putting the time in with. So let go of the past and get real prepared for new things. Okay. Okay. Moving along. For Aquarius and Aquarius risings, this is a new moon in your 11th house of friends and network and clients and colleagues and people you choose to share your space with, people you choose to associate with. Some of y'all are looking at completing something with the people you surround yourself with. And that also means we're going to be looking at letting go of some things and letting go of some people, especially things that are in our routine. For some of you, you're completing something that also has a financial impact. Why am I saying that? Okay. This is a new moon in the 11th house of friends, but it's squaring Saturn, it's squaring Neptune. Venus is also squaring Saturn in this energy. So there is a completion, so to speak, that is going to then put you into a whole different realm. And the thing is, all of these Capricorn transits that are about to hit in January, the first part of January is not entirely great for you guys. It can be blindsiding. It can be healing. It can force you to like face certain mirrors of like toxic past situations. And you can be really kind of stuck in some emotions after this new moon of, did I let go of something too soon? And I'm telling you, no. And if you make the decision you're going to let go of something, but you don't immediately let go of it, it's almost like just because you made the decision, now you see the other side of the pattern. Now you awaken to something on the other side. You awaken to the way people have been doing things and how that doesn't work. And you'll start to recognize very, very quickly the things that have been kind of keeping everybody off of balance. Something is completing, something is changing that impacts your relationship with a lot of people. But it also feels like once this comes to terms, again, once we realize something, we become awakened to how imbalanced certain things are. And we're either going to go into January actually feeling realms of where we need to disconnect, or we're going to go into the first part of January feeling that we need a little bit more of an isolation before we can make other decisions, because all of those Capricorn transits for you guys, it's in that 12th house of the unknown, the unseen endings. I know this is a new moon in the 11th, but again, it's happening at the very edge of the sign. And it feels like we're committing to something or we're completing something that has been going on for a very long time. And for some people, that means making the decision, Two of Wands, to go down a different path. But it's going to get very easy to get focused on what we're losing or what's being left behind and not staying focused on what we're going to build next. So with the Five of Cups, in the traditional deck, it's a man crying over three spilt cups, not paying attention to the fact that there's two standing full cups next to him. If we pay attention to what we have and not what we're releasing, not what we're letting go of, not the people that we have lost, if we stay focused on what we can build from, we're going to get more accomplished. But if we only stay focused on what has fell apart, of the friendships that we lost, of the movement of certain things, or if we try to stay in places that we shouldn't stay in for too long, we'll get really focused on the things that are not going right. And considering this is followed by the Devil card, ironically enough, we're going into Capricorn transits. Sometimes Capricorn is associated with the devil. You got the Devil card next. Some of the things that start to come to light after you have realized that you need to separate, that you need to go in a different direction, that you need to do things differently with other people, what you'll start to see is a difference in their behavior and the toxicity of it. If you completely disconnect and you go into a form of isolation for a few weeks, you'll realize how your nervous system is responding differently because, again, you needed to get away from the toxic behavior. you will have an awakening, an epiphany star card of just how toxic someone's behavior has been. And you haven't realized it in so long. You have not realized just how imbalanced certain things have been because you've been more focused on the other side and everyone else and not focused on your own stability. So a lot of you have to make the decision to complete something and be done with it. But part of the being done is also focusing on what's best for you. And you guys are not going to really feel the real inclination of the new until the last half of January, and more so in February when we have our first Aquarius eclipse. So just be aware that some of your energy right now is not focused on the big building of new. It's getting a better understanding to the things that have not worked, regardless of how much that we've put into it. But then once we pull away, we can see what didn't work, what did, and how we can do something different in a more productive way moving forward with this 8 of coin. It's a good energy. It's a healing energy. It's a relieving energy. But for many of you, we kind of need a detox. And that feels like the first 2 weeks of January, just to be clear. The rest of December and the first 2 weeks of January. Okay, moving along. Oh, my loves, for Pisces and Pisces risings, this is a full moon in your 10th house of career and goals and hopes and dreams for the future and father figures. Some of this is going to have to do with some masculine energy. It's going to have to do with some family members. Just be aware of that. There can be some new opportunity at work in your career that is going to like really finalize some different responsibilities onto you, because this is a new moon squaring Saturn and Neptune in your first house. Venus is also squaring Saturn in your first house. There's something new in direction, in path, a shift in luck for many that is, again, shifting a different kind of responsibility onto you because, again, Saturn is in your first house. Many of you are going to have to deal with some conflict around this area and give forms of judgment before you can allow some things to continue. Some of you are going to have an opportunity that kind of comes through, that once it comes through, it's just one of those things that you're going to have kind of an internal conflict within yourself as to whether this is the right thing to do or not. But once we get past the internal conflict, 5 of Swords, if it's internal or external, but once we get past some of the conflict, we will realize just how much the change, the direction, the path will illuminate how we can let go of a burden that we've been needing to let go of for a while, because this is followed by the 9 of Wands. So we all have some kind of information, some kind of news, some kind of opportunity, something coming to light, finally getting completed in some ways, but then once it's completed, it immediately falls onto your lap in a whole different way. Or there's an opportunity that comes to light that once we accept it, it's putting a whole different shift of responsibility onto your plate. That once we come to terms with whatever this energy is, it's going to be a slow moving, long-term vibration that follows with this Knight of Coin. And once we get into parts of the new year, I think that you guys are going to be a lot more satisfied with a lot of the things that are going on. I think once Saturn and Neptune are completely out of your first house, your vibes are going to be different. Think of how you guys were starting to feel over the summer when we had that little pinky toe glimpse of Saturn and Neptune going into Aries. A lot of y'all felt a lot of relief and you weren't so clouded in your judgment for the first time in over a decade, like 15 years. A lot of y'all had a different kind of clarity coming through. And I feel like once we get into that new opportunity, once we see that clarity, once again, we see the opportunity to get through the burden and do something different. We're going to be a lot happier, 3 of Cups, with the way that certain connections are happening, with the people that we're surrounding ourselves. We're going to have a lot more of that influential kind of energy of doing some things for ourselves. Because again, this opportunity can put a different kind of responsibility onto you that can impact you financially. That doesn't have to be a bad thing going into the new year. And it's going to allow for a whole different set of connections and partnerships. This does not always have to be romantic when it comes to the Lover's card. So let's be fair about that, because some of y'all are like, I don't want to be around a man. I get that. But it's like once certain things come through, the commitments and the connections that follow have a lot of hope. They have a lot of potential. They have a lot more in the vibration that we don't immediately connect to because we're just waiting for this opportunity, or we're just looking at this opportunity. We're looking at the option of something and the ripple effect that follows, the trickle down effect, the dominoes falling into place, the moves on the board that follow in the long run give you guys a different type of relief and different financial opportunities for a new long-term trajectory going into the start of 2026. And that's not just January. That's like literally the first half of the year. But this glimmer of hope, this opportunity, this thing that's finally coming to terms, it's finally coming to a completion, it needs to happen in a very specific way for the momentum to shift into place afterwards. And there is a momentum. In a lot of ways, there's a momentum. Okay. I love and appreciate every single one of you. Remember, my sessions are going to go up at the first of the new year. So if you're wanting to book, of course, go ahead and book at the lower rate that it is still right now, because whenever we get into the first of the year, everything's going to increase. If you have questions, you have concerns, hit me up on social media, email me, whatever is going to work. But I love and appreciate every single one of you. I'll talk to everybody very, very soon. Subscribe.